Yeah, we're ready. Right. Okay. We're waiting for John, right? We're just reading this, yeah? Okay, yeah, we're starting our afternoon sessions. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990, as amended, this meeting of Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. And my name is Yim Chen. I will chair this hearing, and our panel members is Mr. Sahi Bayat and Mr. Philip Goss, and will be the panel. I have a few announcements to make, and then we can start our hearing. The committee adjustment consider application for variances from the provision of the zoning and apply to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming use, and also consent to survey property to create new lots. And I'll make a land allotment announcement. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on this is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Anasabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people, and is now home to many diverse nations, Inuit, Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. And Committee of Adjustment public hearing are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submission in person, and others will participate virtually by each electronic means through WebEx and online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the options of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participation will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted time, speaking time. All of other times, your video will be disabled and you will be restated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx were not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist control during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. Receiving a copy of decision of the committee. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of committee on an application must fill out a decision request card. And those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Board, TLAB, will be sending notification and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, which is TLAB, or in some limited circumstances, to the Ontario Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and January removed rights of third party to appeal Committee of Adjustment decision. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing procedure is such that I will call each item in order listed on the agenda. And when you're making your submission, when an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with the presentation if desired. When the committee does not require presentation, applicants are advised the chair should they wish to speak to their committee. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into committee for decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other material you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept material at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revision to proposal at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call all the speakers in the hearing room and then those participate through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all the speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has the opportunity to rebut only those issues that are raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application then will be taken into committee for decision. So we have gone through this, and do we have any deferral files in this session?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and panel members. Yes, we do have one item for deferral, item 29.
29, okay.
Municipal address is 5 Maxwell Avenue. File number is A0785/23TEY.
Okay,
We don't have any files to be withdrawn and closed this afternoon,
okay,
and we don't have any minutes for adoption.
okay. So for number 29, are those people, the applicant, and also people wish to speak are present, so we can deal with that now?
Through you, Madam Chair, the only person registered to speak on that file is the agent, Christine Taylor. Christine Taylor, you have been unmuted.
You can hear me, but obviously I don't sound like Christine Taylor. Christine Taylor is my wife. She and I should both be listed on there as being able to speak for the applicant, Michael Dome. She has been here but had to step out for a short time, and so I'm filling in for her. But can you just before I say anything else, can you just verify that John Taylor is also listed to be able to speak to this? Because I'm here and willing to do that.
Excuse me, sir, I thought that you are requesting a deferral request. We are going to just deal with the request, and if you are requesting it, can you tell us the reason for the deferral?
Yes, I'm happy to do that. So the owner, Michael Dome, the applicant, had to leave the country in an emergency situation. He would like to speak to the file and is not able to do so. And so he left that with me to defer. At the same time, if the committee would like to save the time of a deferral and there are no questions or community objections, we can move forward if you think that is reasonable to do so. But if not, then we will defer the full presentation. And if there are community objections, then it really will have to be deferred.
Okay, I see what you, so do we have any opposition register or a letter of objections? And I will get some opinion from the panel, what they have studied all the material and whether they are willing to hear today. If they do, we have to move you back on the agenda.
I think maybe we ought to defer because the deferral
come from the
request letter, I think, was in the additional material, so it wouldn't be,
Oh,
so
this,
maybe there could be someone who didn't show up.
oh, okay,
And,
Is
and,
this what you
and
think?
looking at the agenda, there was a letter of concern,
okay.
and
Oh,
I
see.
think correspondence in objection.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
perhaps
yeah,
in opposition. yeah.
thank you. Yeah, so the panel feel that we should defer this case. So I need a
Understood.
motion to defer it, and then it will be scheduled for the next, whenever the committee or something can schedule it, yeah. Okay,
Actually, Ms. Secretary Treasurer, what would be a good date to defer this to?
Through you, Madam Chair, normally we do it to the next available hearing date, and right now, we're currently scheduling for our December hearings.
okay.
Yeah, so the applicant just has to contact the application technician and let them know that they're ready to be rescheduled.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll move it to be deferred to the next available hearing date.
And second, yes, and all in favor? Yes, it's defer, yeah. So let's go back to item number 21. Address is 452 Oakwood Avenue. And the purpose for this is to construct one-story auxiliary building, which is a storage shed and a parking pad for 2 parking spaces in the rear yard of the property. The existing detached garage will be demolished. And what we receive here is a copy of plan survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and 1 photograph of the subject property, and also 1 previous decision affecting the property, and communication from Urban Forestry. So we are ready for the applicant or agent, please. Yeah.
Eddie Perez, you can unmute yourself. Hello, Eddie, are you there? Through you, Madam Chair, if you would like, we can move on to the next item, and I can
Yes.
attempt to call the agent
Yeah,
back
we'll
in
go back to it,
after
yes,
this next
yeah,
item.
Yeah, yeah, you try to contact the agent. Okay, let's move to number 22. The address is 313 Wolverley Boulevard. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing 2-story semi-detached by constructing a new front porch, which will be enclosed, and to reconstruct the front stairs. What we have received on this file is copy of plan, survey, floor plans, and elevations, and 3 photographs of the subject property, and also a cover letter from the agent. So we are ready for the agent or applicant to address us.
Hello there. My name is Safira. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, very well, yeah. Go ahead.
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead. And then maybe I should ask my panel whether they want to have a presentation on this file. None of them need to have a presentation. So we are ready to move it
Great.
to committee, but would you like to say something before we do that? Or address the panel?
There's not much to say. It's a very basic application. There are many precedents of this nature in Beaches East York, and it's quite common, and it fits quite nicely into the existing neighborhood streetscape.
Okay, that's it? Okay, thank you. Now we are in committee. Yes. Mr. Bayat.
Thank you, Chair. I think as the applicant has noted, this is a very straightforward application and a fairly common project, enclosing a front porch to make it more habitable. There's nothing in the application that warrants any concerns, and there are no conditions attached to this. I'd like to move a motion to approve, no conditions.
For some reason, I have a note here that they have some communication from Urban Forestry. Don't we have anything? No.
I
Yeah,
don't-
it's just
Through
a
you,
note.
Madam Chair, I don't have that.
Yeah. Okay, so, we have a second to that motion?
Sure, I'll
Yeah,
second.
it's seconded by Mr. Goss, and then all in favor? It's approved unanimously, yeah. Okay, so how about 2021, yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm still attempting to contact the agent. Eddie Perez, are you there?
20.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Hello, Madam Chair and committee
Yes.
members.
Yeah, you,
Yeah.
you're on
Can you-
452 Oakwood Avenue, right?
Correct. I'm Eddie Perez. I'm here on behalf of the owners.
Okay,
Okay. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
that's fine. Let me-
Okay. Yeah.
Let me check with my panel whether they require a presentation from you first. Do we have any other people, no other person want to speak? So can I ask my panel whether they want to have a presentation on this one?
No presentation, but questions for the.
Yes, we will go straight to the questions. We have some questions for you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bai.
Thank you, Mr. Perez, if I'm got correct.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fairly straightforward request you're making. The questions I have is related to the shed that you're talking about at the rear. Currently, would I be accurate in saying you've got soft landscaping where the shed is going to be?
Okay. We originally had soft landscaping where the sheds were. I came before the panel in October 12, 2022, and we got the landscaping and the parking and all that approved. But the owner, the tenants asked if they can build 3 sheds, 1 for each unit. So he proposed to build sheds. So he's putting the soft landscaping in front of the sheds. So we're still maintaining what we proposed last time, except we're going to have sheds in place for the tenants.
And I imagine.
So that's why we're before you.
I imagine the removal of the garage structure makes it easier access for the sheds?
Well, the garage has already been removed because that was already a permit that we got after the committee. So the garage is no longer there.
Okay.
But
So just
I got a permit for that. We got permits for that.
and that, so now all that exists are the parking pads, I take it?
Correct. And now we're proposing the sheds and then putting the green space in front. We're going to maintain what got approved before, but in a different location.
So if I may, just picking up from that, variance number 3 is always an issue. I realize this may be an existing situation, but since the garage is gone, on the north edge of the parking pad, there's a strip that shows soft landscaping,
Yeah.
but there's a gap between the soft landscaping and the garage itself, and I'm assuming that that's hardscape.
It's as per our last decision, we're going to put permanent road pavers on the whole driveway.
Sorry, which permeable pavers?
We're going to use permanent road pavers, correct?
On the driveway, but that portion that's right at the north boundary, you've got a very small strip of soft landscaping. My thought would be shouldn't take too much to expand that strip. That would basically then make that soft landscaping piece a bit larger, almost comparable to the space that that your shed occupies. So that'll increase the soft landscaping, because you really do have very deficient, and I understand this is it's a site that's, got a parking pad on it, and it's hard to increase it, but this may be an opportunity to do that. Is that something that would appeal to you?
Well, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we can probably put it to around 14%. Because that might add another 2% on that site.
Yeah, I think that it's better than nothing, and I think that would be great.
Maybe make it nice and round, 15%. You think you can do 15%?
I don't think that area there will give you 3%.
So 14,
Because 14, I think that'll give you around 2 just from looking at it without crunching the numbers, but that won't give you 3%, that area there. It would have to go on the parking pad, then we'll be in deficiency on the size of the parking.
yeah.
So we need an area for that too. Can you do a quick calculation? 14% representing in square meter?
Yeah, let me go on the,
Can do-
let's do,
I have to my tools.
okay, let me calculate it for you.
Oh, I see. I can do that too.
Okay, I'm opening the CAD file, so I'll give you the number.
It will be 20.16. Do you agree? It will be,
Yeah, it'll be 1.4 meters square more.
it's 14.
So instead of having, right now, 12% is 17.28.
Yes, and then 14% will be 20.16 square meter.
Will be 18.67.
I have 20.16. Can you go through it again? I do not think that's right.
Okay, 50% of the, minimum 50% of the rear. Okay, so,
Is, I'm pretty sure it's 20.16.
yes. What's the, how much we have here?
What's the number you had, 18 what? You want the percentage, right?
Yeah.
18 what?
That one.
5 meters.
Yeah, it'll be around 20.01 around.
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
let's say 20.16 square meter. That's,
Okay, that'll be fine. Okay. 20.16 square meters, okay.
yeah. Okay, revise.
Okay, so,
5 meters.
Okay.
okay, yeah,
revise.
we can do that. We can do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just, so what state is the site in right now? You've demolished the garage and haven't put in any of these parking pads? Is that where you're at, or?
Yeah, they're gonna put the pavers in and then put the parking pads and then add the green space and all that.
Okay, okay, thanks.
So so there'll be the green space in front of the sheds and then on the side, as per the committee member request. We'll expand that side a little bit extra. Okay?
No more questions, so do we have a motion? Mr. Barrett?
Thank you, Chair. I'll move a motion to approve as amended. There's a forestry condition number 2 attached as well.
Yes, that's right, yeah. And anyone second?
Sure, I'll second it.
Mr.
And,
Goss, second.
I just want to say, I think it's actually very nice to put in a shed. It's a good amenity to make rental units more livable.
Yes. All in favor? Yeah, it's approved unanimously with the amended application and with forestry condition too. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so we move.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Did we do 23? Okay, number 23, the address is 24 Silverthorne Avenue. And just wait a sec, I have to, 23. Oh, okay, the purpose for this application is to convert the existing 1.5-story detached dwelling into 3-story triplex by constructing a front 1-story addition, a partial rear 1 addition, second and third story additions, front and rear second story balconies, a front third story balcony, a rear ground floor deck, and a rear basement walkout. Also to convert the existing 1-story auxiliary building at detached garage in the rear yard into a 2-story garden suite by constructing a second-story addition and removing the existing parking space. Here they are asking for 12 variances, and we have received also in materials a copy of the survey, site plan, and floor plans elevations, 1 photograph of the tree on the property, and arborist report received September 13. And presentation material from the agent and tree protection plan also submitted as part of application. And we have email corresponding from transportation engineering and staff report from urban forestry, and we have 1 opposition corresponding from Mike and Lucia Fita, the 22 Silverthorne Avenue. So we are ready for the agent. And also, do we have more than just the agent to speak?
Through Madam Chair, we do have 2 people in opposition registered to speak. I've tried contacting them. I will attempt to contact them once more after the agent gives their presentation.
Okay, so let's have the agent come up then, please. Yeah.
Marco Vieira, you can unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Marco Vieira. I'm the agent and the designer for this application.
I think you do have some opposition, and maybe you should give us a 5-minute presentation, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, so as you've summarized, the application is to take the existing 1.5-story dwelling, and we're converting it by a series of additions and interior alterations to create a new 3-story dwelling with 3 units, and converting the existing garage into a garden suite in the rear. The existing front setback is to be maintained. We're using the footprint of the enclosed porch as the extent of the 1-story addition. The addition to the rear is simply a 1.5 meter extension past the existing footprint of the building. Variance number 1, 3, and 4 are a result of the existing condition of the existing house placement on the site for existing setbacks. Variance number 2 pertains to the wall height. Because the second and third floor, they've been shifted away from the first floor, but the third floor is at 1.35 meters opposed to suggested to the 1.4. We feel that variance is very minor and not noticeable, and because it is stepped back, it reduces the massing of the building when viewed from the street. Variance number 5 and 6 has to do with the proposed setback of 7.3 meters from the dwelling to the existing garage footprint. The second floor of that proposed garden suite has been shifted back and complies with the 7.5 meters, but the first floor does not. Variance number 7, it's for the angle plane from the first floor and it extends past portion of the second story, which again, we have cut it back to minimize the massing and minimize the intrusion into the 45-degree plane. Variance 8 and 9 are similar variances related to the east and north of the side lot lines. There's existing structures to the south of us with the concrete garages adjacent to our property. So built up garages to the west of us in the rear, and also an existing one-story garage to the north. So we feel that the impact by the second story is minimal because of the existing built form within the site context of our proposal. Variance number 10, its existing access to the garage was through a right-of-way. So there's a public lane that comes off of Silverthorne, and then it turns into the right-of-way. Even though the existing space that's there is much wider than the existing right-of-way at 3 meters, and due to the close proximity to St. Clair, we feel that adding an additional unit within the footprint of the garage would be better than to maintain parking and accessibility along the rear. In case the neighbors want to do something in the future, they can also extend those garages back, and it would restrict the access into the garage. In terms of variance number 11 and 12, it's for the existing side yard setbacks of the existing garage. So we feel that the depth of this house is under what is permitted, complies with the overall building height, and we do meet the rear yard soft landscaping. So we feel that our proposal is in keeping with the intent and purpose of the official plan, and we ask the committee to approve the application.
Okay, thank you. We're still waiting for the opposition.
Through you, Madam Chair, I've tried emailing and phoning in the 2 registered speakers, and I've not received a response from either of them.
Okay, so do the panels have, you have some questions first? Maybe we can. Okay, Ms. Bayer has a question. Yeah.
Thank you, applicant chair. I'm glad to see that there's no variance required for soft landscaping in the rear. I do have one request, perhaps, and a opportunity not to be missed. On the, I'm trying to figure out which direction this is. On the side of the house, you've got a proposed concrete walkway. Is it possible that this could be produced out of permeable materials at the full length? It'll certainly help a lot with percolation.
I think where you're referring to on the north side along the property line?
Bear with me, I think it's the north side. Yes, it's on the north side.
Yeah, so that's an existing paved area. As the neighbors, kind of the driveway, even though it's got the property line at approximately 3 meters, but that's an existing paved surface towards the rear.
It actually says proposed on the site plan. It reads proposed concrete walkway.
In the garage?
No, not in the
That's
garage.
towards that's along the garage, just going to the garden suite in the back. So from the existing house forward, it's already there.
So it's not proposed, it's existing.
It's only proposed from the rear of the house
Yeah.
to the garden suite. So
Oh, I
that
see. It's a
portion
short-
from the
short
house,
distance.
correct.
Yeah.
So for the portion in the back, if you see merits in creating, permeable pavers for that, we don't have an objection, even though we do comply with soft
No,
landscaping.
thank you. I think that would be wonderful because, again, it just adds to the increasing challenges we have with moisture
Okay,
and drainage.
So you're still suggesting that little piece should be permeable material?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
okay.
it's the proposed concrete
Yes,
pathway between the house and the laneway suite.
Yeah. So just one, yes, Mr. Goss has also have questions, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so looking at the plans, and it was one of the complaints raised in opposition, not saying that I endorse that complaint, but that looking at the plans, it looks like the basement is another unit, even though that's not how the application is framed. So I'm just wondering why it's sort of designed in that way. What's the intention with the basement, and why didn't you, if you didn't add a unit down there, why isn't it a unit?
Through you, Madam Chair, the intent is for the owner to occupy the first and floor of the proposal and the basement. So we just needed the additional living space. There is no intent to create an additional unit. The overall proposal is as per the drawing submitted. It's just the need for additional rooms in the basement.
Okay, I just see the sink and the fridge, and to me, and the separate walk-in, and but I'll take you at your word. And to be clear, if it was an additional unit, I wouldn't actually view that as a problem, except that there should be a door somewhere in the basement to separate the units.
Through you, Madam Chair, I see that, but the intention is just to have the additional space. It's a rec room so that they can have accessibility to the rear yard. So it's a wet bar. It's not a full kitchen being proposed. I don't know if they have an intention later on to come back in front of the committee to change it, but as of right now, a total of 4 units is what we propose.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so since, are we making more attempt to contact the opposition? No, we have, right? We have to make multiple attempt to contact them. So I think we finished our questions, and we are in committee now in discussion. So.
Well, I think it's I think it's a very favorable proposal. I think it's the sort of development we want, very close to the streetcar. The garden suite, which I think is part of what caused some concern to the neighbor, is on the existing footprint of the garage and doesn't seem too imposing. No, I think this is quite supportable.
So are you making a motion?
Sure, if no one else wants to comment, then I'll make a motion to approve it, subject to the additional concrete walkway in the rear yard being altered to be instead permeable material. And
Forestry 1 condition.
and forestry condition 1.
Yes. And do we?
Sorry, Chair, if I may add, there's another one that I forgot to mention, ask the applicant. I think it's the second floor, rear.
Yeah.
There's a balcony.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see any privacy screening on that. So I would like to perhaps add privacy screening on the second floor, rear balcony, north and south sides.
Okay.
I could support that as amended.
Yeah,
Okay.
great, thank you.
Yeah. So do we have a second to the motion?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a second, and then all in favor with the conditions. Thank you. Yeah. So let's move on. Number 24. Number 24, the address is 106 Annandale Road. And the purpose for this application is to permit the existing rear ground deck and an in-ground swimming pool. They're asking for one variance. And what we have received is a copy of survey and site plan, 5 photographs of the trees on the subject property, and also a cover letter from the agent. Let's have the agent, please, come up.
Natasha.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Natasha Khan. I'm the owner of the property at 106 Annandale.
Yes. Can I check with my panel whether there are any opposition? Whether they need a presentation for this file?
Just question.
We will go straight to questions. Okay, Mr. Bayat.
Thank you, Chair. To the applicant, you're asking essentially soft landscaping issue, and I recognize that this is an existing condition that requires a variance. 34% is low, And when I look at your site plan, I saw the photographs that were submitted, but the photographs unfortunately do not show any of the paved area in the rear. And there's a substantial area of paving in the rear. So I was just wondering how you might increase that soft landscaping, because there's a huge deficiency and there is opportunity to rectify that.
The paved area in the rear, one minor thing I had to say was the notice said an in-ground swimming pool, and it's actually an above-ground swimming pool. So they told me that I can clarify that at the meeting here today too.
Yeah, but
So the paved,
I saw that in the photographs actually.
yeah. So the paved area around it, it's we kind of use it as a patio area and chairs and stuff like that, so that people can see the kids and play and all that. And most of that was like, it's been there for the longest while now.
I recognize that and I appreciate the challenge, but when you look at the space between, I can't quite read it, but it looks like a shed that you've got at the back. Between the shed and the pool area, there's a large area of paving.
Yes.
It's not just the area around the pool, that I appreciate, you want to have a space around there that is paved, but there's a huge area of paving that adds to the deficiency that you're requesting.
It's kind of difficult to make that more grass just because of the way the yard is shaped. We're on a bit of a hill, so the yard it's inclined in different levels.
Is there anything that can be done to increase the soft landscaping? Because as it is, I find it difficult to say this is okay.
If you look at the diagram of the place, I'm just trying to see where we can increase the soft landscaping area. And also, I don't know if you noticed that the back of the yard too also has soft landscaping, which is not sure. That's the area behind the swimming pool. All of that is soft landscaping with trees and flower bed there too.
That may be part of your calculation. So what you're asking for, we just want to see how we can increase that.
Could you also mention sorry.
At the front area between the house and where the grass area is, we can probably add more grass in that area where it has the the hard pavers there between the house and the grass.
That may certainly work to some degree. Do you have any idea how much, what percentage that may increase the soft landscaping by?
It would be that whole block there up to where the hot tub is can all be put into grass. I'm not sure the exact amount of how much that would be, but it's a substantial amount there.
I'm sure that would certainly help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just for our purposes, we certainly need a number.
Do you think if we I suggest 40%, can you meet 40%, you think?
Yep.
Okay, the 40% is, how much is that? We can calculate that. Let me just reset.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, 0.34 times 0.4. It will be 128.32 square meter. Is representing 40%. Will you agree with that? I think.
Sorry,
Yes.
what did you say the measurement was, Chair, in square meters?
Square meter is 128.32.
128.32.
Yeah, because
Okay.
34% is 109. So yeah, I think I calculated it right. But you you can always double check that, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you happy with 40%?
Absolutely,
Happier.
it's a substantial change, and that's good, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So any question, any more question?
I had a question, but it's
That's
no longer
debated.
important.
Yes, okay. So are we in committee now? If we have a motion.
I'll
Mr.
put
Bayat,
forward a
please,
motion.
yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
I'd like to move motion to approve. This is one of those circumstances that's an existing dilemma for the owners of the property. But since we have an opportunity now to increase the soft landscaping, I was glad that we came up with this number. So I would like to move approval of this application as amended. I don't believe there are any other conditions attached.
Second,
Sure, I'll
Mr. Goss, second, and all in favor? Approve unanimously as amended. So number 25, we move to, number 25, the address is 320 Bathurst Road. The purpose for this application is to permit an outdoor patio in conjunction with the existing ground and second floor eating establishment. They're asking for one variance, and we are ready for the applicant or agent.
Edward Lee, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, I forgot that the material we receive on this file, can I read that? So we receive a plan, a survey, a site plan, and all the floor plans, and 2 photographs of the subject property. And we have received email corresponding from transportation engineering, and also a staff report from urban forestry and also community planning, October 18th. So yeah, okay, we are ready now.
Good afternoon, Edward Lee, agent for the owner, 6 Argyle Street, Toronto.
Okay, do we need a presentation, or you'll go straight into questions? Yeah, we are ready to ask some questions. Okay, please. Mr. Goss.
What type of restaurant is this?
Yes, it's a small cafe bar. It's very low key, as you can see from the photos that are on file of the rear yard. There's a tree, beautiful tree in the backyard. The forestry condition, I spoke to forestry, and depending on what type of landscaping is being proposed, that's the reason there is a forestry condition. The owner is not planning to do any landscaping, and it's meant to be a little oasis in the backyard away from the hustle of Bathurst Street. General context is I've been the applicant for several of these backyard patios, and I'm very sensitive to the impact it could have on residential neighbors. So I always approach these applications very cautiously and ask the owners to reach out to neighbors. I like to reach out to planning staff early to see if the context of these patios is acceptable to them. And this one, given the context, there's a large garage separating the lane from the patio. And none of the neighbors at the rear of the laneway had any concerns, which is why the planning staff report has the typical conditions associated with rear patios. But there's nothing about the tenant per se, or the business per se, that is out of the ordinary for a small cafe bar in Toronto.
Sure, that was actually a lot more than I asked, though. And what I'm really curious about is what sort of use will this patio be put to? You know, what type of, so you say a small cafe / bar, so, you know, what hours, what sort of food, what sort of activity?
I imagine it will just be populated with just loose furniture and people having coffee by day will come out to the patio, and in the evening come out with their cocktails. Obviously, the conditions from planning staff restrict the evening hours and obviously prohibit any music and live entertainment out in the patio. So it's really just meant to be an outdoor space. Committee has been very supportive of these applications since the pandemic to give businesses as much outdoor space as possible. But successfully been to committee for some of these in the past few years, and hoping that committee will see this as being acceptable for this location on Bathurst Street.
Any question? I have one question. This application is to permit the use. Is this patio been in operation for a long time, or is that a proposed?
Yes, it's a proposed.
So it hasn't. So we sort of have to imagine that you just have chairs and tables in this space in the photographs.
Yes, that's the extent of what I'm imagining. There's obviously if the owner does propose anything more extensive landscaping wise, we have to satisfy urban forestry as a condition to this application. But as of right now, if you see the inside of the cafe bar, it's a bit old. It's a bit old school. It's not meant to be a fancy bar.
I noticed you do not have any opposition letters, but have you talked to the neighbors that it's going to be a outdoor patio?
Yes, so the owners reached out. The owners of the building are the operators of Bathurst Local, the bar, and they informed me that they reached out to their backdoor neighbors when the sign was posted, and had no concerns from any of them.
So it's more than a cafe, a bar in the and a cafe. It's a drink. So you see that it's eating. It's also a restaurant, right? Providing food and sit-down service and all that stuff.
Yes, every liquor licensed establishment has to provide some minimum food service. It's not a gourmet kitchen by any means inside, but snacks to go along with cocktails is what they currently serve inside.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions? Yeah, we finished our question. We are ready to discuss this case in the committee. So let's start. I'd like to add some comment. And this is like the first patio, I think, that is right next to residential property, right? That on this street, on this part. I know that community planning have put in some conditions, but I just worry that because it's adjacent to a residential property, I don't know whether we should put another condition to have like a testing period, like 2 years.
Personally, I'm not so concerned because
Okay.
I look at the context on Bathurst, and it's a little retail strip that looks pretty run down, that back in the day was maybe a little more lively, and this could re-inject. And the other thing that I notice on the block that makes me a little less concerned is there's a very large and popular McDonald's right there backing onto the laneway just a little north of this.
Yes,
and I
yes.
imagine if the neighbors are okay with everything that comes along with that, they probably are going to be fine with this.
Okay, so you do not see that it just
And just to add to apart from the actual laneway, the residents on the west side, the garages.
Yes, the garage is like a
So
buffer,
Yeah,
almost
the
that.
garages are a buffer, and I can't remember if the agent mentioned there's a structure at the back of this property. So I don't see the concerns, and it's definitely not a large establishment.
Okay.
And planning conditions are in place.
Quite strict already. Yes, okay. Do we have a motion then?
Sure, I'll move a motion, Chair.
Okay, Mr. Barrett, yes.
Pardon me, that the application be approved. The only condition is forestry number 2.
And the planning condition,
And the planning condition, I beg your pardon, thank you.
which we talk about a lot. And second, please.
Yes. I'll
Mr.
second.
Goss, second, and all in favor with the conditions. Yeah, approved unanimously, yeah. Yes. So thank you. We move to number 26. Number 26, the address is 340 Young Street. The purpose of this application is to permit an amusement arcade, which is with claw machines, I don't know what those are, on the ground level of the existing 3-story commercial building. And they are asking for 7 variances. And we have received a copy of the survey, a site plan, 4 plans and elevations, 9 photographs of Young Street, and also a cover letter from the owner, John Kenneth Rutherford, and presentation material from the agent. We are ready for the agent. Oh, hi, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, so we're ready for you.
You're ready for me. That's good.
Yes.
My name's Ken Rutherford, and I'm the owner, developer, and manager of 340 Young Street, known as the Thornton Smith Building, and have been so for the past 35 years. Slides. Thank you, sir. Today, my presentation will supplement the information included in the letter and pictures I submitted with my application that answered 3 key questions. Why is the minor variance necessary? What is the benefit of this world-class experiential retailer to Young Street? And why there should be no concerns about approving the application. The Thornton Smith Building was designed in 1922 by John M. Lyle, an internationally known architect who designed a number of Toronto landmarks, including the Royal Alex and part of Union Station.
Oh, excuse me, can you stop a little bit? We should put the timer on. You have 5 minutes to make your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Lyle was a vocal critic of the proliferation of false storefronts and unregulated signage on Yonge Street, and decided to lead by example by designing a world-class building for the Thornton Smith Company, an exclusive furniture and design firm. He was awarded the first gold medal ever issued by the Ontario Architectural Association for this building. In order to fully appreciate the context of this application, I believe that it's important to briefly review the history of the Thornton Smith Building and the neighborhood around it. Next, please. Thank you. On this slide in the 1950s, immediately after the subway tunnel was put down Yonge Street, the Thornton Smith Building is right there. Virtually the rest of the buildings are no longer there. As a side note, Gordon Lightfoot got his start at Steele's Tavern right across the street. Next slide, please. Family business, Toronto Camera, was the largest camera store in Canada at the time. Next slide, please. And in early 2000, I decided to take the building back to its roots, that John M. Lyle believed in a minimalist signage. I rebranded the building back to the Thornton Smith Company and developed a signage plan that will allow new tenants to come in without necessarily having to change the facade of the building. And that's exactly what's happening in this place, and it's happened with my 2 previous tenants, Foot Locker and Champ Sports. Next slide, please. And today, this is what the building looks like. Next slide, please. The neighborhood around me, though, does not look quite the same. This building here, the storefront has been empty for 4 years. For 3 years, it's been leased by one of Canada's major banks and has been in this condition for the better part of those 3 years. Next slide, please. You can see the Thornton Smith Building there, and then 2 neighbors to the south. Next slide, please. As with many parts of Toronto, we have significant social economic issues on Yonge Street. These items were left by a gentleman who committed to physical assaults that day. This was June 21st, 2003. That is not an uncommon incident. This happened out front of the store. Next slide, please. Toronto Eaton Centre, you're probably familiar with it. It covers the block between Dundas and Queen Street. It's an indoor mall, only has a couple entrances off of Yonge Street. Next slide, please. Professionally managed, beautiful storefronts, boasts retailers from around the world. It's safe, large security force, keeps many of the issues we experience on Yonge Street out, and is my competitor for finding a world-class retailer. Next slide, please. So here we are, the Thornton Smith Building today. Many times I feel like I'm in Mr. Lyle's shoes, looking back on the lack of progress on Yonge Street over the past 101 years. And that's why I'm here today. Much of the story, next slide please. Much of this story has been included in this presentation to this point has been covered in a recent article in the Globe and Mail, which talks about the building and my extensive efforts to revitalize Yonge Street. The next slide, please. And this is the last slide, which I will talk about. After the past 18 years of reaching out, or 18 months of reaching out to traditional world-class retailers, I'm convinced that they will not return to Yonge Street until the street is revitalized and more world-class buildings come on stream. Lack of traditional retailers has led to the vast majority of storefronts in the neighborhood being leased to quick-service restaurants, which does not create a diverse retail experience for shoppers on Yonge Street, the fourth busiest street in North America. So to find a new tenant opportunities, over the past year, I've researched alternative world-class retailers in major international cities and identified that experiential retail stores have been growing quickly around the world. In fact, the use I'm proposing emanated from Japan, and these experiential retailers are now prominent in New York, Chicago, Boston, and other major international cities around the world.
You have used up your 5 minutes, so can you do your summation, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
Plus, amusement arcades have been a regular fixture at events on Nathan Phillips Square this summer, and similar businesses have opened across the GTA. The application that I'm proposing has all the elements of the type of retail experience needed at this time to revitalize Yonge Street, as it's fun, exciting, colorful, professional, and engaging for all ages of Torontonians and tourists alike. Over the past few months, I've chatted with the planning and heritage departments, and they have no concerns with this proposed use for the Thornton Smith Building. In conclusion, I hope you support me in my efforts to ensure the Thornton Smith Building remains a key cultural asset in the heart of Toronto, along with my efforts in leading the revitalization of historic Yonge Street, as through introducing the world-class experiential retailer to millions of pedestrians and tourists who visit Yonge Street annually, I hope to create a more engaging street and neighborhood that will encourage more families to visit, more developers to invest, and more world-class retailers returning to Yonge Street. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Yes, question. We have questions for you. Yeah.
So looking at the variances sought, if I kind of get to the core of the purpose of the zoning provisions that you'll need variances to, it seems to be about having the retail in Yonge be a street front sort of engaging retail experience, and that amusement or this amusement class of business is usually something much larger and not engaging at the street. Now, based on your presentation and your materials, I think that might not be the case here, but maybe you can speak to how this will engage the street. Will the windows still have visibility into the retail space is one of my concerns.
As the picture you saw, the last picture I showed, it's a very engaging experience. People, yep, there you go.
Oh, this is a proposed, what will be? you can see through these windows and see the machine?
It's a retail store. The windows will be retail animated windows as they've been for the last 101 years.
It's not like because sometimes there's that sort of like film that gets put on windows, so then they become
This is, I mean, I'm a professional developer. This is a world-class building. I've showed you what I've done to this building. I will do nothing but make this a world-class building. Unfortunately, my neighbors around me are not doing that, which is from the pictures you saw.
Okay, any questions?
Do I assume correctly that Champs has left?
Champs has left for the Eaton Center.
So it's current for the Eaton Center.
After 25 years as my tenant, probably the longest tenancy on Yonge Street.
I must say thank you for the slide presentation, because I think not everybody will have a sense of the history of Yonge Street. A lot has happened over the past 50 years. I mean, the street's gone up and down, hopefully up. And unfortunately, the Eaton Center was very much responsible for the fact that everybody moved into it and left the street to its own.
That's exactly what happened. Many of the retailers that used to be on Yonge Street are now in the Eaton Center, and we need to bring them out. And I have one of the few properties that actually can do that. But a single retailer, whether it's Lululemon, Arc'teryx, Canada Goose, is not going to come out between the buildings that I showed you in that picture. It would be suicide. And so I am left with a situation of looking for alternative international retailers. The one I happen to have selected will be better than, frankly, anything else, because it'll leverage all of the customers of the fast food restaurants around me. It'll bring families to the downtown core. There won't be a child that walks by without dragging their parents in to engage with this activity. So effectively, this is going to be a home run, both for the building and also for Yonge Street.
And so you actually have the retailer lined up?
I have the retailer lined up, subject to the fact that I had to come to the Committee of Adjustment.
Those cross machines,
Yeah.
what are they? Sorry.
Well, claw machines have been around for probably about 75 years. And
It's one of those pickup stuff.
they choose a toy or something
stuffed
like
animal,
that.
it's a bunch of-
But that is only a portion of the experience.
Okay.
The other portion of the experience is selling retail goods. And so, the claw machines is part of the experience, but the other experience is just customers coming in to buy product.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions?
Just a couple
So
of comments, if I may. I applaud your initiative,
Thank you.
and I do wish you well. I'm not sure if the claw machine experience may work. I hope it does. But I'm glad you're trying to make a change.
Thank you. I mean, they've been very successful in Japan, for 15 years, and, we have similar demographics in Toronto. And so
I can guarantee my 6-year-old niece would not walk by.
there you go. So,
Yeah.
so I hope you will come and join us one day. I mean, the other part of it too is we can customize to different seasons. We can customize the toys, et cetera, to Father's Day, Christmas, Halloween. There's a lot of different animations we can do to make something very unique.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure there aren't any more registered speakers on this item. So I think that we are ready to make a decision here. Do we have a motion, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'll go forward with the motion. Thank you. I think this is a really very, as I mentioned, I think it's an admirable attempt. I hope it works. In Japan is different in many ways to Toronto, very different, homogeneous as to heterogeneous societies. But I hope it works. I don't believe there are any conditions attached to this one.
Yeah.
So I'd like to move a motion to approve with no conditions attached.
Okay, we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
All in favor? All approve unanimously.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yes.
Can I get a written, you said there's a form on it?
And Then let's move to 27. Thank you. Oh, okay. The next item is number 27. Item number 27. The address is 169 Woodcrest Avenue. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a new front porch, which will be enclosed, and to reconstruct the front stair. They are asking for 7 variances, and what we have received is a copy of the survey, site plan, and floor plans and elevations, and 3 photographs of the tree on the subject property. And also we receive email corresponding from Metrolinx, and we are ready for the applicant or the agent for item 27. Yeah.
Kyle Bruce, you can unmute yourself.
Good afternoon to the committee. Thank you for having me today. I'm here representing 169 Woodcrest Avenue.
Can you state your full name and address, please?
Sure.
For the record.
Yep. For the record, it's Kyle Bruce, and I'm actually the resident of 169 Woodcrest Avenue.
Okay. Let me check with my panel whether they want to have. Do we have any registered opposition? No. So I'm going to check whether we need a presentation from you first. Do we need a presentation, or you want to go straight to questions? Okay, straight to questions. All right. So we don't need a presentation. We just will ask you questions. So go ahead, Mr. Byett.
Thank you, Chair. The only one that really jumped out at me is variance number 7, but I'm going to hazard a guess that it's an existing circumstance, front soft landscaping, front yard soft landscaping.
Yes, it is. We're using the existing structure of the porch, of course, reinforcing it for our purpose, but we do also have that cement walkway.
So any other questions? I think this is like a straightforward application. We are ready to go into discussion and make a decision on this. Okay, Mr. Byett, you have.
Sure.
You can start.
Move. Thank you, Chair. This is, as you said, a very straightforward application. I'd like to move for approval. There are no conditions attached to this application.
Okay, we have a second.
Yeah,
Mr. Goss, second, and all in favor? Approve unanimously. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next item is number 28. Address is 131 Lamb Avenue. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a cantilever rear second-story addition. They're asking for 1 variance, and what we have received for this file is a survey and a site plan, 4 plans and elevations, 7 photographs of the trees on the subject property, and also 2 forms of letter in support signed by owners 129 and 133 Lambs Avenue. And we have oppositions of 3 opposition letters from 99 and Lamb Avenue, 182 Gillard, and also from 194 Gillard Avenue. So we are ready for the agent or applicant, please. Yeah.
Bruno Lopez, you have been unmuted.
Hi, through you, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Bruno Lopez from MXL Engineering and Associates, located at 1649 St. Clair Avenue West, and I'm here as an agent on behalf of the owner.
Okay, you do have some opposition, and I'm not too sure whether they have registered to speak.
Through you, Madam Chair, I have 1 speaker in opposition on standby and 1 speaker in support on standby.
Okay, so you better give us a very brief presentation for 5 minutes, please. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Through you, Madam Chair. I believe this is an application as simple as it can get. I'm a bit appalled, and before I even go to the drawings, I'm a bit appalled by the opposition letters. I don't know if they were filed by mistake or if the people were actually looking at different addresses, because when you see some letters that they are talking about reducing green space and whatsoever, it's interesting. I don't know if the people, they don't have the ability to read drawings, which will be here to help to make it understand. But it's actually interesting, some letters, the comments, because I don't want to call it nonsense, but I think they will lack a little bit of support in terms of technical description. So our drawings, it's very, very basic. It's just something that it's been done in the neighborhood. I don't want to say forever, but for a long time. There is an existing one-story rear addition, and we are just building on top of it. As you can see, there are no comments from any department, planning, transportation, forestry. We will have to apply because we'll have a tree, but this doesn't impact the tree at all. So basically, we have a one story that we're gonna introduce a second story over it, and what might be causing some concern or maybe misinterpretation is the cantilever part. But as everybody can see, the cantilever part is just 2 feet, and the intent is actually, instead of having a mini roof or something, we do this as a mini cover for the entrance at the rear. So this is very, very simple, very humble. Even our variance is very, very minimum, because committee is being approved in this area. GFA is on 70% plus, so we go from 0.6 to 0.67. It's something so small that I wish I could not be here, but very unfortunately we triggered the variance.
Okay, thank you. We have one speaker in opposition and one in support, so let's have the next speaker then. Yeah.
Monica, you have been unmuted.
Oh, hello. Well, I'd be very glad for Mr. Bruno to explain how is this not a variant, like how is this not taken from green spaces? This will be the house going all the way to the back, as far as I understand. And there is nothing like that in the entire alleyway. There is no other house where the house goes all the way to the end of where the back alley is. So how is that not diverting from it? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
And so far, I mean, when we're in the backyard, either you see a one-story garage or you see trees, because it's just the green space, it's just the empty lots where people park their garages. And you get a sense of, privacy. You can see back there, you can enjoy the space. And we are most of the time grounded. Like, we can't really go anywhere since the pandemic. So we're spending more time in the backyard than ever. So taking from that sense of privacy, it's not nothing. That's a major change. Also, as I said, there is no other house in the entire alley that has any house that ends up, that goes as far to the back alley. So if he can explain what he believes we don't understand of the drawings, I'll be very glad to get some clarity.
Okay. Any question to this speaker? Yes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what it is that you see that makes you believe this goes all the way to the back of the alley, because that probably would represent an overdevelopment of the site, but that's not what's actually been proposed. So I'm just wondering what's made you have that concern.
That's what it looks like with the
Well,
arrows.
that's what it looked like. And we sat down with some of the neighbors. Some of them are not here because they were unable to. But that's what we all... So sorry, I just have something that... Yeah, sorry, there's someone at something...
That's okay,
Well, go ahead. So, exactly. Tell me, how is this exactly the same as it used to be, or as the other homes there?
Through you, Madam Chair.
yes.
Monica, can you please state your first and last name and your address?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. I'm Monica Miko, and this is 182 Gillard Avenue. And I'm here with my husband, Steve Miko.
Okay, and then I'm gonna ask the presenter just to use your cursor over the area that's being constructed. Just so that Monica and her husband are aware of the addition. And so
Yeah.
Monica, can you see that? Are you able to see?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's the area.
Yeah, it's that hatched portion, and then everything else where it says existing deck, you can see there's going to be a deck, then there's going to be a yard, then there's the tree, then there's the existing garage. So it actually, to me, looks like just a small portion, that's the hatched portion that's going to be added. I know that these drawings can be difficult to understand, but do you see what we're showing?
Well, I'm trying to understand exactly how is that going to change what we have right now. If you could show me the before and after, rather than with this abstract drawing, all of our brains don't work the same, particularly, when we're talking about active memory. I need to be able to understand what I'm seeing while hearing what you're saying, and that is a process that I have difficulty with. So you can make it less abstract, you can help me understand that better. I am trying to be understanding, I'm not trying to be contradictory, I just don't want.
That makes sense. Can we maybe go to the elevation, A3.03?
All right.
So this doesn't show the whole property. This just shows the existing building. And then the top square that has the up and down lines, that's the addition. And you can see that it's almost entirely above their existing back room. So if you know the property and you can imagine the existing back room, this addition is just that up and down line portion above it, and all of the rest of the yard is not going to be touched.
Oh, okay. I apologize, Bruno. I absolutely, I sat here with some neighbors because I do have trouble understanding these kinds of drawing. And the consensus were, because I really thought I'm not really getting what's happening, was that it was going to be moved all the way to the end.
No.
To the other.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that, and it's only going to get that add another box on top of the existing.
I can see that.
And I'm glad you understand. So, do you still have the concern now? You understand?
Yes. No, I do not have that concern,
Okay,
and I want to formally apologize for bringing any threat to the family or the homeowners.
Yeah, don't apologize. Very well. We just want you to understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So, can we move to the next registered speaker?
Pamela Pinch, you have been unmuted.
Hello, my name is Pamela Pinch. I'm the attached neighbor to 131, the applicant. I just wanted to note my support and to say that the neighbors were very proactive. They reached out to my partner and me ahead of time to discuss their plans, and we've been in support of this proposal since the beginning. I think now we've cleared up the miscommunication because it is just sitting on top of an existing box. And so technically these homes are really only one bedroom. So this is just really about expanding the livable space. Yeah, no, I really don't have anything more to say, just my support for the project.
Okay, thank you very much. So I do not think we need to go back to the agent because we make the speaker understand which is a happy ending there. So I think we are ready to take this into committee.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment first for the agent. Just maybe in future not to make disparaging remarks about the people that do put in letters, because sometimes it is something as simple as this, just a true misunderstanding.
I understand, yeah. I agree with you, yes. And on that, I just like to make a comment that this is a very straightforward application otherwise. Yeah, so let's focus on that. Do we have a motion on this?
Yeah, I'll move to approve. There's no forestry?
No.
Okay, so I'll just move to approve.
And second, and all in favor? Approved unanimously. Thank you. And then we can move to item number 30. Number 29 been deferred, and then number 30, the address is 38 Brandon Avenue. The purpose is to construct a new one-story auxiliary building, which is like a semi-detached garage in the rear yard of the existing two-story semi-detached dwelling. The existing semi-detached garage will be demolished. So they're asking for one variance, is soft landscaping. So, and we receive on this file is a copy of survey, site plan, and floor plan elevations, one photograph of the subject property, and also a cover letter from the agent, and 4 signature in petition in support. So we do not have any opposition or any other people other than the applicant registered to speak? No, no. So can we have the agent, please?
Yes, good evening. Graham Barrett, SGL Planning and Design,
Yes.
1547 Bloor Street West.
Yeah. Before you start, I will check with my panel whether they want to have a presentation, since you do not have any opposition.
No, I'm good, thank you.
They do not, Aaron.
Yes, I'm back. I
is
just
back.
want to let you know at the same
Do you
time, yes.
want to- Have you heard
No.
the?
Yes,
okay,
I
you
started
have.
right at the
So-
beginning.
Okay, so we do not need a presentation, and it's quite a straightforward application. So let's go straight to any questions. Mr. Bayer has a question.
Thank you. Your particular variance is soft landscaping. Looking at your site plan, there's an area that I'm just wondering if you couldn't extend your soft landscaping to then change the request that you have in variance from 31.46%, I believe it is. If I can just try and describe to you what I'm talking about, when I look at the site plan along the eastern boundary with the neighbor to the east, your driveway, the proposed driveway, goes straight up against that fence, presumably. Is it possible to have something like a right-angle triangle and cut off that piece and turn it into soft landscaping as opposed to having it all hardscaped?
I'm sorry, through you, Madam Chair. Yes, I half expected this question. If you take a look at the supporting material that I've submitted, it's labeled as cover letter on the AIC. I've provided a existing and proposed graphic of existing soft landscaping and proposed. I suppose it would theoretically be possible to, create a slightly different shaped soft landscaping area there at the northeast corner. However, that is the right-of-way that's shown in the survey. That's basically follows the exact same line of the right-of-way that allows the adjacent neighbor to access their driveway and their garage. So that area was kept as paved, and significant improvements have been made to rear yard soft landscaping, both on the subject site and the adjacent property, and who was working together on this project, obviously, being that it's a semi-detached garage. So, I don't have the ability on the fly to say, yes, we can draw a triangle there and change the number to, X%. But I do think that a significant improvement is already being made, and this will provide access that's existing, shown on the survey as an existing right-of-way. Hoping that is sufficient.
Okay.
No, I take your point, Agent. Thank you for the explanation. Just another quick question. Your proposed, I suppose this is all going to be reconstructed. It's called proposed driveway in front of the garages. Is that existing, or are you going to be redoing that? And if you're redoing it, will it be permeable materials at all?
It is most.
Sorry, I beg your pardon for interrupting.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, it is existing. If you take a look at page 3 of the supporting material that I've submitted, you can see a photo of the rear yard. It's all paved. A large portion of it, at least, is paved. I know the plan is to cut away sections of it and include more soft landscaping. I don't believe the plan is to rip it up altogether, as it could get quite costly to redo the entire rear portion. But the idea of changing this to permeable pavers, one would be substantially more expensive than leaving it or resurfacing it. And also, I would only be able to really address permeable pavers on the side at 38, Brandon, not 40, Brandon. So it might create an unusual situation where if permeable pavers were included on the subject site, that line might end at the property line dividing the two properties. The owner and their designer have worked very hard to make as much of an improvement in terms of soft landscaping as possible, in anticipation of these remarks. We understand the importance of drainage and green space, and I think they've made a really concentrated effort to improve things on this site. So, I mean, I suppose if need be, something could be done with permeable pavers, but the plan is not to rip up the entire driveway at the rear. It could get quite expensive for the homeowner.
Just judging from the photograph that we're looking at in the screen, there's a shed to the right, top right. I take it that's going to be removed and that will be soft landscaping?
Yes, that shed and the entire kind of dilapidated garage structure is to be removed and replaced with this semi-detached driveway, semi-detached garage. That is correct. So the area somewhat where that shed is now and to the east of it is going to be landscaped area.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I have one question. Regarding number 40, are they going to apply for approval, or because they have to do some change too, right? For their driveway or paved area. At the moment, it's all concrete, right?
They will be in compliance with rear yard soft landscaping. No variance is required.
No variance, I understand, but then are they, how can you make sure that they will do what's indicated on the plan? That's what my question.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to apply for a building permit to build this. I would trust that they would build what the drawings show. Beyond that, I'm not really sure how to answer that.
Well, that's precisely my question. I do not know why their proposal or the plan appear in this application. That's all.
That would be because the designer this is a project in partnership between both owners. So this is the drawings that have been provided. We're only addressing 38, Brandon,
yes.
But the drawings show both properties. So, I mean, it would have been a little odd for me to just cut the drawing off at the property line without being able to explain what's happening next door.
Okay. I guess because it's first time I've seen something that not including in the application, but just assume that they will do it, I guess, because it is substantially different from the photograph, which is almost 100% concrete paved. And in this proposal, we see some green space also on number 40. And I'm not too sure why it is in front of us, because it would change the perception that there will be more soft landscaping. Because number 40 can have a right not to even do anything, right?
Yeah.
I suppose so, but this is their plan.
Oh.
They're working together on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll save my remarks.
Okay. So any other questions? Just about my observation, that's all.
I'm just wondering if we're concerned about that, perhaps we tie it to the site plan?
Okay, yeah, all right. So at least there's some accountability.
Something.
Okay, so are we in committee now? Yeah. Okay, sure. Mr. Bayat, let's start first. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. It is just a single variance and one that I think the agent has given us some reasonable explanations for. So I'd like to move approval of this application. The only condition is that it's tied to the site plan.
Okay. As any second, please. Yeah. Aaron, second. Yeah. All in favor? Yeah, approve unanimously. Okay. So we move to number 31. Address is 175 Gamble Avenue. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear ground floor deck, also to construct a new one-story auxiliary building for storage, it's a storage shed with an attached canopy in the rear yard. They are asking for 4 variances. And on this, we receive a copy of the survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 2 photographs of the tree on the subject property, and also email corresponding from Metrolinx, and 6 signature petition in support. And we are ready for the agent or applicant.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Barry Goldman. I'm the architect and agent for this application. If you'd like, I can make a brief presentation, or I'm happy to answer any questions.
Can you also give us your address for record? Yeah.
Yes, office address is 321 Carlaw Avenue, Suite 203.
Yes. Oh, okay. Do we have any other? No, we do not have anyone registered to speak. So I'm going to check with the panel whether they want to have a presentation or go straight to questions. Questions. Aaron? Okay. We do not need a presentation. We will go straight to questions. So, Mr. Bryant?
Sure, I'll kick off. This application is not a problematic one. My only question to the agent is that in the rear, you've got new stone pavers, both in the area that's below the canopy and immediately behind the house. Would you be okay with the condition that these pavers be permeable?
I apologize for not putting that on the drawing. I should have.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and then we put it as condition then just to help you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So any other questions? So no more questions, so we are ready to go into committee. Do you have any more things you want to tell us before we get into committee?
No, please proceed.
Okay, so let's start. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move forward with a motion to approve. The only condition is that the stone pavers in the rear be produced out of permeable materials. That's the only condition attached to this particular application, which is very straightforward.
Okay, anyone second? Mr. Gox? Oh, I didn't see his hand. Okay, Aaron second. Yeah. All in favor? Yeah, approved unanimously. Yeah, thank you very much. We move to number 32. The address is 50 Bristol Avenue, and the purpose is to alter the existing two-story row house by constructing a rear two-story addition and a third-story addition with a rear third-story rooftop deck, which will be above the two-story addition. They're asking for 1 variance. And on this file, we receive a survey, a site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and 4 photographs of the subject property. And I do not believe that anyone else except the agent registered to speak. So we are ready for the agent or applicant.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Car Martin, and my address is 383 Westmoreland Avenue North.
Okay, thank you. Since you do not have any opposition, so I'm going to check with the panel whether they need a presentation from you. Okay.
No, I don't have it.
No, you're okay.
Just have questions about. Yeah.
Any questions to this?
Yeah, it's about the privacy screen.
Okay.
I don't know if they have any ideas. If the applicant has any idea about that.
Yeah.
We could definitely add a privacy screen. Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
On the rear deck, right? So do you know the
On the rear.
where? Can you specify the location of the,
I think it's easy to look at drawing A300.
of 300? Okay.
Yeah, so you can see she had put some railing on it. I think we just have to extend it to let's go back to the site plan.
So it just.
So it will be on the north and south side, if I'm correct.
Okay, north and south side, okay, edges. Okay, and any other questions, please?
No.
No, so, Mr. Bayer has a question.
Just one additional one while we looking at this. I think there's stone pavers in the back. I wonder if those could be permeable as well.
Stone,
Do you mean the ones near the house?
Yeah, are those existing or are those going to be new?
So those are gonna, it's a bit of both. Those are existing right now, but we will have to tear up a portion of them to do the construction. And we're planning to put them back as is. And right now they are kind of like pavers with a lot of space in between to allow water to go through. Yeah.
oh, okay.
So we can consider them to be existing. Good, okay, thank you.
Okay. So we will not put a condition
No
on those?
condition
yeah,
on that
Okay.
one, yes, thank
So, we don't have any more questions. We are ready to make a decision. So do you have anything else you want to address the panel? Ms. Martin?
No, I don't think I have anything else. I think this is pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's get into discussion. So do we have a motion or? And
Sure, I'll go forward with this.
Mr. Bayer,
Chair,
yes.
thank you, Chair. This, it is a very straightforward application. The only condition we would add is that the third floor deck have privacy screening on, I believe, possibly, is it both sides, Aaron, north and south?
Yes, correct.
North and south sides
Yes,
to
please.
a height of 1.5 meters. Pardon me.
Okay, anyone second? Mr. Goss second that motion. All in favor? With the condition, yes. Approved unanimously with conditions. Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Martin. And we move to the last item for today is number 33, address is 456 Gerard Street East. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story mixed-use building by converting the ground floor use from one retail store into one personal service shop, which is a salon and retail store. The existing dwelling on the second level will be maintained and unaltered. They're asking for one variance. On this, we also received copy of the minutes from the September 6th public hearing and material submitted for consideration, and copy of the plan, survey, and floor plan elevations, and email correspondence from Heritage Planning, City of Toronto. And we are ready for the agent, please, yeah, or applicant.
Hi. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Ms. Yes, we are ready for you.
Hi.
Can you state your name and address for the record?
Yes. Yes. My name is Daisy Lamb. I am the applicant and owner of 456 Gerard Street East.
Okay. Let me check with my panel whether they need a presentation. Since I do not believe there are oppositions or anyone to register to speak, so presentation or strict to questions? All right, we do not have the need for presentation, and I do not know whether we have any questions. Any questions? We do not have
No,
question
no.
either. Okay, Ms. Lam, before we get into committee and make a decision, do you have anything else you'd like to address the panel?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a pretty straightforward request that we have.
Okay, this is pretty easy. So
Yeah.
let's get into committee, and we're looking for motion.
Sure.
Okay, Ms. Goss. Yeah.
I'll move. It's Gerard Street. It's a pretty major corridor. I see no reason not to permit this use, so I move to approve.
Yes, a second. Ms. Aaron Zhang, second.
Yes.
And all in favor, please. Approved unanimously. Okay. That conclude our today's hearing. We adjourn at 5:46. Thank you for everything. Thank you, staff. Thank you, panel. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, panel members. Have a good evening.
Yes.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Yeah. Bye bye, Erin. So. Hey, we did it.